is part 2 to the Fustang Wobble tutorial that I had posted previously. I had received some feedback from people and also just kind of listened to it some more on my part, and I was able to discover that there were some ways to improve the sound that I had posted previously. There's a couple of things going on, but primarily 3 things going on that I wanted to touch on. I had mentioned previously that this was going to be like 16th notes, and that the wobble changed to 16th notes and then to a 1/24 note, whatever that is. But when I started paying closer attention to it, it seems to me that this thing sped up a lot faster than that, but it was really hard to kind of detect unless you slowed it down. So what I did ultimately was to come in and make this sound here, and all the voodoo, you can get these settings right here from NZ, Ryan NZ. He's got a really great wobble. I've kind of done some tweaking and added some white noise, but I'll leave that up there so you guys can check that out. Also going to be selling this in a sound pack that I'm going to be putting out here pretty soon, but this is really where the voodoo is right here. Putting an envelope on the rate of this LFO is what allows it to speed up and sound like a nice smooth speed up. Where before I was thinking that it was happening in in discrete increments, it's actually an envelope that's making that frequency of that LFO increase steadily. And once the computer starts controlling that, it does it very smoothly, and it's really hard to detect, but you can hear the difference. Check it out. This is the original. This is actually more Fustang right here. Okay, and this is the comes immediately after the wobble. This stuff right here is what I've programmed. So listen carefully and see if you can see the result. Again, that's more Fustang, and right here is the part that I did. So you can hear the difference, obviously. I mean, my stuff isn't exactly like his, but it's pretty close. And so that's the first thing I noticed, is that there's some white noise going on there, and this thing here. Again, I'm going to be selling this in a pack, and I love giving stuff away for free, but I really do need to start generating some revenue out of some of this time I've been putting in on this. So if you just don't want to mess around with all of this stuff, I'll make that link available. I'll be more than happy to send you one, and of course, I answer any questions that you might have on that. But anyway, the other thing I noticed about this is that it sounded really hollow to me when I did, even though I'd figured out pretty close what those LFOs were doing. This still lacked something. And what it is that if you listen real carefully to the original, there's a staccato bass going on in this out in more Fustang's wobbles. So what I did was to code it here. Oh, sorry. Let me get it over there real quick. Let's just put it right there. That does 2 things for it. It fills out that low end, and it also gives it that dropping effect. Because, oh yeah, that's the other thing. The other thing that I noticed is that whenever I was doing this sound, it still didn't sound quite like his. His sounds more like a record scratch, right? And what happens when a DJ scratches a record is like not only is the speed of the sample being changed with the record, the pitch goes up, right? Because you're making it go up. So the sample also has to change in pitch. So what I did was to drop this envelope here on the pitch of these oscillators, and that also is what allows it to sound more like a wobble, right? Like a record being scratched, as opposed to just an LFO. So like if you were to hear it, let me see. I'm going to take out this stuff. So there's 2 things going on there, right? The frequency of the LFO is changing, and the other thing that's happening is it's getting pitched up very quickly. So that gives it a whole nother, similarity, to be like a record scratch. Again, it's not exactly like his, but I think you could probably get pretty close right here if you just took the time to start EQing, and you could probably get that sound if you played around exactly. But I wanted to point out those key differences. The other thing is the sound that you make is never really going to sound exactly like Fustang's unless you take into account the fact that he also drops some kind of weird noise. There's some kind of white noise going on the whole song, basically. Listen to this. That's my attempt at copying it. But if you listen slowly to what he's doing, carefully to what he's doing, there's a little bit of a that's not quite white noise. It's got a more metallic sound to it, but that's going on too. You also listen to those low ends. There's like a very distinct low end thing happening as well. And if you listen to it, it's going do 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 do. It's dropping down in frequency, giving it that effect that he gets. So it's the white noise, it's the LFOs being pitched up with an envelope, it's the staccato bass going in the background that's sort of accentuating the dropping effect of that rapid second part of the wobble. All of those things are going on at the same time. And that has a lot to do with it. And so, one other thing about Mort Fustang's music that I kind of just wanted to share with you guys. When I was analyzing the frequencies to see if I could get my EQ to line up with his, to make it sound like his, I put just a little frequency analyzer on what's going on. And if I isolate what he's doing all by itself, all right, one more time, just now, if you look at that yellow line, you'll notice that there's a very sharp drop of all the frequencies at the 8,000 hertz range. And I've never seen that. I've looked at Dead Mouse's stuff and other people, and I've never seen anyone do that. Here, let me see if I can freeze it for you guys. That one wasn't as... Hold on, let me see. Look at that. See this? I've, tried to reverse engineer quite a few people's music, and I've never seen anybody do this right here. So what I did to my stuff is I pushed it all to one channel, and I dropped a filter on it, a pass filter. This guy right here, cutting it off right there, and also spiking the frequencies. You see how the way to get this kind of cliff action is to spike it up a little bit and drop it all right there. And again, I didn't get exact. I don't know what he's doing to pull this off. Probably, something else. Plus, you got to go into each individual wobble and cut it off right there. But yeah, this is another thing that gives his sound that distinct Mort Fustang thing. Is that right there? So I hope that those things that I was able to kind of entangle there help you out as you try to develop your own sound, listening to other people's really great music. And if you have any questions, as usual, post them up. I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks. Bye.